Hey, in this video, I'm gonna teach you how to build a manual trainer. Now, quick disclaimer, if you don't have a 26-inch dirt jumper, you might have to adapt some of these measurements. So at the end of the video, I will give you some tips on how to adapt the measurements. All right, so for the wood, we're gonna need a 10-foot 2x6 and an 8-foot 2x4. Let's take that 10-foot 2x6 and cut 2 feet off of it. This 8-foot piece that we're left with is going to be our base. Now let's take that 2-foot piece that we just cut off and cut it down to 18.5 inches. This is going to be the rear support for the rear wheel. Now we have to cut some side supports and front support for that rear wheel. We're going to take our 2x4 and we're going to cut 2 pieces that are 22.25 inches each. Then we're going to cut a 5.5-inch piece. That's going to be our front support. The last thing we need to cut is going to be the corner braces. For these, we're going to cut the trapezoid shapes with 45-degree cuts on both sides. Now for the front corner braces, we need 2 pieces that are 10 inches long on the long side. For the rear brace, it needs to be 26 inches long on the long side. Next up is to drill pocket holes. I think pocket holes are the strongest way to hold this together. I'm a fan of them. I'm using a Craig jig for this. Now, if you don't have a pocket hole jig, I suggest you buy one. But if you prefer to connect this some other way, then skip drilling pocket holes. For me, I drilled pocket holes in both ends of the side supports. I drilled pocket holes in the center of the front support, and I drilled 2 pocket holes at the bottom of the rear support. All right, so now that we have all the pieces, we can start placing them together. All right, we're gonna take our 8-foot 2x6 and we're gonna place it on the ground as the base. Now figure out which side is the front, measure 60.5 inches from the front and place your rear support there. Make sure it's square and screw it in. Now we're gonna screw the 2 side supports into that rear support, ensuring that they're flush with the edge of our base. Now you can take your front support, screw it into the base right in front of those side supports, screw it into the side supports, and then technically you should probably screw your side supports down, but you can see what happened to us. Quick, just so you know, make sure your pocket holes are the right way. We put both of these up upside down.
How dumb is dumb, Nick?
Dumb.
We're
so
dumb.
Make sure you do this the right way so you don't have to do it twice. All right, so the last thing we need to screw in is our corner braces. The 2 10-inch pieces are gonna go from the rear support to the side supports, and the big 26-inch piece is gonna go from the middle of the rear support to the back of the base. These can be installed by simply pre-drilling some holes into the top and bottom and using a simple wood screw. Now the manual machine's in place, it's time to test it out.
Oh, hey, but Nick, why wouldn't you do side braces on there so then you can have balance, huh?
That's a good point. So you notice we didn't do any side braces for this manual machine. Some people like to put legs coming out the side so that the machine doesn't tip side to side. I don't do that. For one, you need to learn balance side to side. For 2, your base is wide enough that you don't really have a problem falling over side to side. And 3, if you were to fall over side to side, I would rather the machine tip over and I have to put a foot down rather than I tip over and the machine is gripping my wheel so hard that it bends my wheel. All right, so I told you I would show you how to make adjustments in case these measurements don't work. Because as I said, this is for a 26-inch dirt jumper with 2.1 tires. So to start off, if your tires are wider than 2.1 inches, you're probably gonna want to use a base of a 2x8 instead of a 2x6, because once your 2x4 side supports are flush with the edges, anything bigger than a 2x1 tire is probably not going to fit. Now, to figure out where your rear support is gonna go, if you have a longer or shorter bike, set the base on the ground, move the front wheel of the bike all the way to the front of the base, then set the rear support up against the back wheel and mark it. That's how I got 60.5 inches for mine. Now, to figure out how long the side supports need to be, put a 2x4 into the front of the rear wheel, just so it would hold the wheel in place, and then take the measurement from that piece of 2x4 to your rear support, and that's how long your side supports need to be. And those are all the adjustments that you would need to make. But if you have a 26-inch dirt jumper, everything that I just gave you will work just fine. Pro tip, for the manual machine, you'll want to take your chain off. It won't work properly with it on. And if you're interested in learning how to properly use a manual machine or to improve your overall bike riding, consider joining bike school. You can check out the link in the description to learn more.
Teach you everything that you need to know.
Take you to the next level.